Hey, Cheryl, what's the matter? I'm just stressed out and I'm just really discouraged because me not have no money. So me get pay, so the pay go away. And then the more me stress out, the more me have to spend to make myself feel better. When me spend the money on the things then to make me feel better now, me not have no money to pay the bills. Your mental health is affecting your financial health. It coming like say me I lose my mind. No, you don't have to cry. Me buy all sort of expense. You don't have to live like this. It's like me trapped in a one black hole. Lord, hush up and listen to me now, man. You just attack, complain. I mean, I get no chance to say nothing. Victoria Mutual Building Society, they're having a conference called Making Moves, where they teach you how to manage your health and your wealth. Thursday, August 5th, 6 to 7 p.m. It will be streamed on Zoom, Facebook, and YouTube. Okay. And please, wear something nice. Because me, I gotta look good. You need to look good too.
Greetings and salutations. My name is Carla Moore. I am a life coach and a gender specialist, and it is my privilege this evening to be here for Victoria Mutual's Making Moves series. So, as you may know, because Victoria Mutual is what I consider a stalwart in the game, helping individuals achieve financial literacy is one of the key things here. It's about talking about your financial well-being as well as your emotional well-being. Now, a lot of times when you think about finances, we don't think about something like health or well-being being a part of it, but hopefully by the time we're done this evening, you'll be a lot clearer on that. So today we're talking about a topic that I think is very timely and that I think connects to things that a lot of us have to deal with now, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. I'm sure you know somebody who has their financial situation has shifted significantly in the past year. You know somebody who maybe you've lost contact with them. They don't seem to be reaching out as much. You know somebody who they used to be very bubbly, they used to be very outgoing, and now they seem a little bit withdrawn. Or maybe you know somebody who is showing signs of anxiety. It's essential that we keep a focus on mental health as we are talking about general health, but it's also time for us to draw that connection between mental health and our finances, and that's what we're going to be doing here today. So if your cash is drying up, if you don't even know where your priorities are, if you're having to make a decision between paying your rent or going to the supermarket, then this is for you. But even if this is not happening to you, if you know and love somebody who is having a difficult time, or even somebody who just wants to figure out a way to build wealth while they have less, then we're so glad to have you here with us this evening. It's a tough place to be in, and the better thing for us to do is to face up to it. And we're all in this thing together, and Victoria Mutual Group is here with us. So today's conversation focuses on building wealth for better mental health. And I'd like to think that both of them go hand in hand. If you're joining us here and you have any type of chat feature, I'm asking you to just put something in the chat to let us know if we're right on the money and this is a topic that is resonating with you. So to have this conversation, we're going to bring people who can talk to us about this from different perspectives. We're going to be sharing personal experiences, and we're also going to be sharing critical, practical information that you can apply in your life to build your own financial literacy and also to support your own emotional well-being. I'm going to be talking to a social media personality who you may know as Julie Mango, but she's coming to us today in a slightly different capacity. She's going to be talking to us as an author, an actress, and a mental health advocate. So I want to welcome Miss Juliet Bodley, who is here with us today. And also joining us is Patrice Bingham. Now, Patrice is the Senior Financial Services Specialist at Victoria Mutual Building Society. I always love when people have them long name there because you know so them know what I'm talking about. And together we're going to be having a candid, open, and frank conversation about the issue of mental health and where it joins up with finances. And we're going to be talking about the fact that a lot of us are dealing with this impact, but somehow so many of us feel alone, right? So let's talk about Miss Juliet Bodley. She's known as Julie Mango. She's a person who is on social media dancing like our grandfather. She's on the person on social media showing us how Jamaican people cheer, showing us old-time Jamaican things, the Jamaican hot girl things. Anytime she brings out the Razak lotion, I'm on the floor because it resonates with us so much. She hails from the parish of Clarendon, but she spent 13 years in Manchester. Julie earned a bachelor's degree from the University of Technology, where she studied structural engineering, and a master's in engineering management from the Florida International University. The multi-talented Julie Mango is a lover of the performing arts, and I feel like anybody who has seen her pieces can see that, and an avid advocate for mental health, and we'll get into why a little bit further on. Her aim is to discontinue the stigma associated with mental illness. So let's bring in Miss Julie Mango. Julie, are you here with us? All right. So while we're getting Julie on the line, let me tell you a little bit more about why we're having this conversation today. A lot of us can end up in what feels like a cycle. You have some financial difficulty, your bank account balance is going down. Because your bank account balance is going down, you find that your mood and your energy starts to go down. When your mood and your energy goes down, some of the things that you would normally do to become okay, you can't do them, and that causes you even more mental duress, and that can have impact on your earning. Okay, she's with us here. Julie? Julie, are you hearing me? Okay. I'm not quite hearing you yet. Julie, just keep talking so I can know and I can hear you. I love that she's so animated already and we haven't even started talking. This is one of the things that I love about her. I can't wait to talk to her because I know from talking to her before that she's had quite a journey to get to where she is today and to be able to come in and have this conversation with us. No. All right, so in the meantime, let me finish.
I think I'm good now.
Yay! Okay, you're hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you loud
And
and
I'm
clearly.
hearing you. Okay, so I can call you Julie?
Of course.
Or I must call you like Miss Mango?
Anything you want.
Anything I want to tell you. Okay, so Julie, we are in, and we can't say this enough, unprecedented times. I know that in the past, people used to talk about, oh, them struggling and them suffering. But right now, objectively, a lot of us are just having to deal with changes that in a million years, we could never have imagined that we would be locked down for 2 years. We could never have imagined that entertainment would be canceled. Beaches are closed in Jamaica. Nobody would believe that beaches would be closed in Jamaica. So people are dealing with a lot. And we can feel it in our minds. We can feel it in our bodies, right? So we're dealing with a lot of demands that we probably didn't have to deal with before, and it's taking a toll on our mental health. But sometimes it's difficult for us to talk about mental health because there's still a lot of stigma. We still have a lot of old school ideas about what mental illness looks like, what it means for a person to live with a mental health challenge. So can you tell me how you became a mental health advocate?
Yeah. Well, I became a mental health advocate because I myself struggled with a mental illness called borderline personality disorder. I attempted suicide in 2011, where I crashed my car on the highway from the Falmouth police station to the JDF camp in Montego Bay, Delta Company. So all I did was I saw a truck coming in the opposite direction and I turned the car towards the truck and my car flipped on the side and skated into a bank in a ditch. I came out scratch free. So that was my attempted suicide in 2011. And that was because I was having a mental illness. No, the reason why it would reach to that is because of the stigma surrounding mental illness. When I was in high school and slicing my hands and cutting my hands, people used to think I'm a freak. And they used to be like, oh my gosh, why are you behaving like that? That's stupid. You're ungrateful. You're bright. You're pretty. You don't have anything to worry about. Both your parents are working. Look how many people are starving. And, I was basically berated and ridiculed for having a mental illness.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what was happening to me. And my parents didn't know what was happening to me. And so because I had to go through all of the stigma, the ridicule, smiling, the laughing at, all of that. Even though I was a happy-go-lucky person or a bright person, as people would say, I was plagued with mental illness right throughout my teenage years and majority of my adult life. Now, following the attempted suicide, it even got worse than that. But then eventually I got therapy and I got treatment and I understood what was happening to me. I have an illness that is treatable. And upon getting treatment, I can safely say I am now healed or in the healing process. And because right now I can see where I was compared to where I am now. And there are so many other people. You have young females who are committing suicide and nobody knows. You have men who are handsome and they have their families, their wives, their businesses, they're very rich and they kill themselves. You know, you have people who attempt suicide in their bedrooms at night and they wake up the next morning and everything all right. And nobody knows the secret struggle of people. So my objective is to literally save lives, saying, hey, a mental health illness deserves the same reverence as cancer or diabetes. Because if somebody tells you they have cancer, immediately it's almost like you have a bit of reverence for them. But if you tell someone you have a mental illness, it's like, oh, oopsies, you know what I mean? So what I want, and then if the thing is, everybody is aware of mental illness. I'm not trying to bring mental health awareness, absolutely not, because everybody knows about it. What I'm trying to do is to break the stigma and to normalize telling someone that I have a mental illness. Just like you say, you know, so I have flu, you know, so I catch COVID, you know, so I have a mental illness. That's basically how I want it to be, and that's why I'm a mental health advocate.
Thank you so much for that. When I listen to you, something already becomes clear. People will say, why are you depressed? Why are you sad? Your family have money. Why are you sad? You come from a good place. You go to a good school. You have these opportunities. And there's a way that we feel you don't deserve to struggle. You don't have a right to struggle if you have, you know, a certain level of financial security. So we can already understand that even though the way that we're putting it together tonight might feel new, we have actually already put them together in that same way in our own minds. So I want to press a little bit further into that connection. One of the things that we know money impacts almost every part of your life. And how you are doing financially shapes your mood. It can trigger your anxiety. It can exacerbate your depression. And sometimes you can get trapped in a cycle. I do have a lot of money, and so I feel bad. Because I feel bad, I can't go to work, I start calling out late, I start calling out sick, I'm missing days, so I'm not making money, and, you know, inside of this cycle. Julie, have you ever been inside of this cycle, and what was it like for you?
Yes, I have definitely been inside this cycle. So people have different coping mechanisms, and my unhealthy coping mechanism is food and clothes. I will chug down 10,000 calories in a day. I'm not kidding. And then this is America, and you know American calories are like American US dollars, 140 to 100. Just kidding. But anyway, side joke. Anywho, so my unhealthy coping mechanism is food and clothes. So when I get depressed about something unrelated to food or clothes, I have to get that fix. That whatever hormones that are raging inside me because I'm depressed about something, I have to get that fixed. And so I spend money to buy something brand new, the clothes that I don't need, or food that I eat, and then after I eat, I feel fat and unhealthy, and I'm afraid I will catch diabetes because I will eat a whole cake from Walmart in one go while watching Netflix.
Okay, I'm so glad that we're on the same team here. And I feel dragged a little bit because it's cheesecake for me. When I don't feel good, I am going to buy the whole cheesecake. And even though I'm going to slice it little, next thing you know, the whole cheesecake done. And then I feel bad about myself because I'm the type of person who just ate a whole cheesecake. And it's over one day, but little. You do it little, right? Because we have the ways that we trick ourselves. So you get stuck in this cycle. So you said that clothes, food. These are the things
And
that you
so,
turn to when you're not feeling your best.
right. And so to come out of that, oh,
Yeah.
go ahead.
I'm
To
trying.
come
So, do you
out
talk to
of,
other people about this? Because I know that you're a mental health advocate. Do you find that when we're not doing well mentally, our behaviors tend to change? Like, are there shifts that we can identify in ourselves and that other people might be able to look out for to let them know, Julie, not do so good right now?
yes, so when you're mentally okay, you will behave what people refer to as normal, or you will behave, I guess there is a certain there are certain limits within which you can operate on a daily basis. And when you are mentally healthy, you will operate within those limits. But then when you're not mentally healthy, people can look and see behavioral differences, behavioral changes. If the person is not doing the things that they love anymore, or if they are sticking to themselves, anything that's very different from what they used to do before.
Yeah.
And to get out of that cycle, because once you're in that cycle, to get out of that cycle, you have to pay attention to the root cause, which is your mental health. Because the temporary fix that you get from spending will not help you, because after you spend, then the bills come, you have no money for the bills, and then you're going to go into debt to pay for the bills. And then somebody from VMB is going to come and talk to you. Okay, this is how you should manage your financiers, and this is what you should do. And you're like, I'm not trying to hear that because my head not right. I'm not trying to hear it. I have too many emotions going on.
Yeah.
And so if your brain is not operating optimally, everything else is at risk. You're not able to process normal, logical, chronological things that should usually make sense. So the
Absolutely.
best thing for anyone to do is to get therapy to enhance their mental health.
Yeah.
If your foot's sick, you're going to get physical therapy. So if your head's sick, go get mental health therapy.
Yeah, thank you for that. And I'm glad that we talk about this type of unplanned spending, and we'll get into that with Patrice a little bit later about how to manage that. Because trying to make yourself feel better, it costs. And, for folks who are watching this and who are thinking, I know that something is happening with me and I might be having a mental health concern. Here's one thing that I always tell people to look out for. You bathe today? And it might sound simple, and I think a lot of people shy away from it, but you bathe today, because when your mental health is floundering, the basics
Yes.
like cleaning your room, bathing,
Yes.
washing your hair, your hygiene, spreading your bed, you are not thinking about doing those things depending on the type of mental health concern you have. And definitely at that point, thinking about building out your financial portfolio is the last thing that is on your mind, right? So, all right, I'm going to go into your
Exactly.
section because we will end up over there. So, for you, because you talk about the unplanned spending, the fact that it affected your bottom line, tell me what were like the 3 steps that you took to shift out of that cycle of poor financial health and poor mental health. How did you get out?
Number 1, recognition. Number 2, therapy. Number 3, operations and maintenance. So number 1,
Recognition, therapy, operations, and maintenance. Okay.
yes. So number 1 is recognition. You have to, you see, the thing is, whenever something is wrong with us, we realize it, we do. Nobody don't have to really
Facts.
tell us, but it's like,
Facts.
it's so familiar and so nice and so addictive. It's like you find ways and means to say, I'm fine, but you're not. So you have to stop and you have to recognize that something is amiss.
Yeah.
That's the first step. When you recognize it, you have to talk to somebody about it. I recommend that you talk to a professional. Not your yes, you can talk to your friends, but your friends are not trained in mental health or life coaching. You have to talk to a trained person, because your friend will say, you can do this. Yeah, you can do it. When what you don't need is encouragement. What you need is for somebody to delve into the root cause and take out all of the rotten root them and pull them out until you have a new tree. You can plant new roots. So that's the therapy.
Yeah.
Once you do the therapy now, and once you know what it is that you're supposed to do, and know meaning that your brain is starting to recalibrate, whether you do that naturally or with medication, mental health medication, yes, mad pill, you're going to need it sometimes. That's all right.
Might be.
Once the brain is starting to recalculate or recalibrate itself now, then you have operations and maintenance where you put in practice what you have learned in therapy. And operations and maintenance is not a quick fix. Sometimes it will take months or years, but that's fine because life is a journey. You never ever reach, because you one day you're going to want a Maserati. When you get that, you want something else.
True.
That's true.
And those are the 3 steps.
Yeah.
Recognition, therapy, and operations and maintenance.
Okay, so since we're talking finances, I have to say it. What about the person who is watching this and they're saying, I can't afford therapy, I can't afford a life coach, my budget is so tight that I cannot afford. Me can barely afford to go a doctor, much less to go try to go doctor for my head. I don't have it. What do you say to somebody who is thinking in that way? I need support, but I can't afford it.
I'm going to sound very mean, but I can say this because I have been there. So I say, oh gosh, I can't afford therapy, but may I go buy a Falsier or a wig though? Oh my gosh, I can't afford therapy. You know, so I go buy a new blouse when I sit in the market, no a coronation though. You have therapy session. You can go to I'm not sure what they have at Ward 21 or at Bellevue if you have therapists that are low cost.
Yeah.
But if you want something, well, there's a will, there is a way. It sounds cliche, but if you want something, you're going to find a way to get it. If they see a shoes and you don't have no money, you're going to find a way to buy the shoes. All that is happening, all that is needed is a paradigm shift in how you view the importance of mental health, and that's a part of the stigma. If you view mental health as a part of your survival, as a part of your basic need, you're going to find a way to do it, because Jano, you buy the hair gel to sleek down your hair edges, right? You bought it, and the hair gel costs what, $150? I don't know. You can find money to get therapy. Human beings are built for survival. We are built for survival. So, but the survival is subject to what we deem as important.
Yeah. That's true. We spend on what we think is important, and that's true. And for a lot of us who say, I can't afford therapy, if we looked at the things that we were purchasing to comfort ourselves and we put all of that money together, you could actually use it, right? Yeah. Hey! I also try to be, COVID is the thing that brought us like a high five like that. But I also try to be mindful that somebody might be watching this and think, I'm not ready for therapy, right? Going into therapy, it's a big step. There's a way that sometimes you have to gear yourself up for it, because you have to be honest. You have to go in front of this person and be honest about what you're happening. So throw out a lifeline, even if it's not a therapist. Reach out to somebody. There are a lot of different free resources that are available. There are a lot of hotlines and stuff that you can get access to. Even here in Jamaica, try to reach out there. If you have a support system, friends, family, understand that when you're dealing with a mental health concern, one of the first things it makes you want to do is to pull away from everybody. You want to hide. Am I right?
True.
You want to hide. You're gone under your little rock and you're not coming out because nobody can understand you and this is too much for you to bear. So when dealing with my own mental health, I had to make a decision that I was fighting for my life. And if I didn't reach out to somebody, I could have lost it, because just like you, I've dealt with suicidal ideation over the years. And I'm really glad that you brought that up so early, because for some of us, we think this is the end point. It's the extreme. We don't think we can recover. If you get to that point, you can't recover. But I'm glad that you can show that with the right support, and there are different types of support that we can get, you can do it. You absolutely can do it.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, so Miss Julie, thank you very much for talking to us. Of course, you're not going to just leave us here, but what you've said has been very insightful, and it's helped me to think through my own life, actually, because I am one of those people. I think I say something is a priority for me, but how I spend my money doesn't show that it's a priority for me. And
where your money, your heart is.
You have to put your money where your heart is. And I think that's what's important. If I love myself, I have to spend money on myself in particular ways. I have to invest in myself. And investing in myself can take the form of paying for therapy and also saving towards some of the longer term goals that we have. If you have questions for Julie, me, for Patrice, please put them in the chat. We are going to answer them later. If you're just joining us, please remember we are here for Victoria Mutual Making Moves. I'm Carla Moore, I'm your host, and we're talking about building wealth for better mental health. You've just missed the segment where we have spoken to Miss Julie Mango about her journey to becoming a mental health advocate, and also some of her tips for trying to take care of your mental health and invest in your mental health. And now we are moving to the other side of the discussion, which means I'm coming to you. So at this time, we have Patrice Bingham. You are the Senior Financial Services Specialist at VMBS Portmore. Portmore people, please represent yourself in the chat. You are a motivator, a mother, a wife, and a leader. You're passionate about changing lives and helping ordinary Jamaicans achieve their dreams.
Yes.
So this sounds like your job is purpose work.
It is.
Your job?
It
Okay,
is.
okay.
That's one of the reasons why I love what I do so much.
Yeah.
Because when a client comes in front of me and, they say, boy, I want this, I want that, I want to sort out my life.
Yeah.
I normally ask them the questions, what really are you looking for? So you see, once I know that, I know exactly how to advise them.
Yeah.
So for me, it is a daily thing that I do. Persons call me consistently, because the reality is, as persons in our culture or any other culture, there are certain things you want out of life. You want a roof over your head, you want to live comfortable, and you want to drive a nice car. That's the general thing that I get, right? So I normally ask persons, okay, why do you want this car?
Yeah.
Why do you want this house? I tend to ask the hard questions, And
Yeah, because I don't want you to ask me that question, Patrice.
No, but you see, the thing is, sometimes, and with the job that I do, yes, we provide financial solutions, but we're in the idea of changing lives, and not just for the worse, but not for the worse actually, but for the better. Because sometimes when I look at a person's finances, them taking on something else might not be the best decision for them at this point. So sometimes you have to kind of save them from themselves. Yeah, it's true, It's true.
Wait, Patrice.
So,
are you trying to say that there are certain times when it might suit us to actually pull back at tops, to not go quite so hard?
Yes. So let me take it a little deeper. And Julie touched on some very, very important points, because sometimes we're impulsively buying something because of how we feel.
Yes.
And then when you look at it now and they come before us, because the reality is, decisions that we guide them to make will affect them for years.
Yeah.
So we have to make sure that what they're doing is something that is beneficial for them and their family. So it's not just a give it to you and you go, and then you hear say, boy, you're in this other situation. So we have to look ahead. We have to look deeper in their lives. We look at the, work out their thing with us, which is why a major part of what I do is planning, guiding, and ensuring that there's continuity.
Yeah. So it sounds like you are in a relationship with the folks that you work with.
Yes.
And it sounds like a very holistic approach to it. Okay.
It is.
Seeing a zero account balance is going to bring up anxiety for anybody, right? So what are some of the tools that you can recommend? All right, Patrice, some of us not in a good financial place now.
That's true.
Right?
That's true. And it's
wonderful to have this conversation
okay.
as though we're trying to avoid slipping. Some of us have slipped.
Many
right?
times.
Put it in the chat if you already have a shaky financial situation. If your situation is already looking rough, what are some of the tools that a person can use to cope with being there first, and then after, if we're not there, how can we avoid? So tell me first, how do we cope if we're already there?
All right, so let's put it this way. If you have a cut, you can put a plaster on it, right?
Yes.
But that don't mean that the cut is healed.
True.
So look at it this way. You are in a situation where it brings on the pressure and you're stressed out, you can't survive. You have to go back to what caused you to get there. And that is where the real question comes in.
Mercy.
So mental health, because if I am emotionally feeling a certain way, I spend off all of my pay, live the YOLO life, and then tomorrow now you wake up and say, wow, I can't go working because I don't have the money. You can't do this, they call in sick for 3, 4, 5 days, and then you're in trouble.
Yes.
So when you look on where you are don't beat down yourself for where you are.
Yeah.
Look on what the root cause of it is. Is it a case that probably you need to check in with yourself to say, no, man, am I going through something emotional?
Yeah.
Probably I need to ask for a therapist or something. So you kind of have to ask yourself the tough question.
So that's a clear link between what both of you have seen.
Exactly.
Introspection. So if
Exactly.
you are trying to fix up your mental health, if you're trying to fix up your financial health, you have to start with some introspection. You have to ask yourself the things that you probably
Yes.
didn't, you've avoided asking yourself these things.
Because I can tell you all the wonderful things to get you there. But if you yourself is not determined and you're mentally ready for it, you will never get there.
Okay, so I have faced myself in the mirror.
Yes.
I realized that I have a tendency to feel for something nice.
Like a cheesecake, something
Like
yes,
a cheesecake,
yes.
or like some clothes from online, or maybe a small tablet,
Yes.
just a small tablet.
Or a phone every 3
or
months.
a phone,
you know?
or maybe a trip because I deserve to go to a hotel because it's good for my mental health. So now that I realize that I'm doing these things, but Patrice, me still not feel good. I still feel like me need these things. What do I do?
So here's the thing. Why are you doing it? Is it to feel good or really to cover the true issue? Because the reality is, you live for today, but you kind of also want to exist for tomorrow. True. And that is where planning comes into play.
Yeah.
You can't live for just today, full stop.
Yeah.
So for example, you come to me and you say, listen, this is my reality, I say, what is it really you want out of life? Like, what you really want? And the first thing you say, listen, is to be financially independent. Or you're going to get there, I can tell you. But you have to want it.
Yeah.
You understand? So, all right, you have the trip, you go every 4 months. Why not cut back, probably do it once a year on your birthday? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you like the cheesecake, say, all right, give yourself a target. You say, probably every 3 months,
Yeah.
Be accountable to yourself. So when you look at how much you save and we paint that picture to you, you'll realize that the money that you're spending will come back. And I always tell persons, you cannot fill an empty glass with nothing. If the jar is empty, the glass empty, and you're wondering to yourself, how am I going to get to point B?
Right.
You kind of have to realize where the hole is. And the hole comes from you making these impulsive decisions without justifying their cause root, which is mental.
When you say you cannot fill an empty
Can't
glass
fill an empty glass with an empty
nothing.
jar.
So you can't fill it with an empty jar. So you have
You
to
have to find the hole, what
some
was
hole.
leaking out the water, not patch it, but seal it,
Right.
which takes time. So, you understand what I'm doing? So
I have a question with a hole from time, because
Ask me, man, ask me. But, I hope you understand what I'm saying,
I get
because
what you're saying.
I provide solutions to persons, but at the end of the day, I have to realize the cause for where your financial status is, what might have happened to get you there, and possibly see how I can save you from being there again. Because here's the trick. We get you out of the hole, your money coming in back. When you get comfortable again, right back in the hole you end up. So that's a recurring cycle.
Yeah.
That's not helpful for you nor your family. So that's where I look at.
I know that there are people who are watching this who have never spoken to somebody to get advice about their financial situation.
Yes.
Who had no clue this is what it sounds like.
Exactly.
They had no clue
Exactly.
that you actually approached it like this. They probably thought you're just going to tell them, I don't know, to save more and put your money here and it's going to give you returns.
It's way deeper than that.
So I'm on Twitter. And on Twitter, every 3 days, we have to go through a debate about something nice.
Okay.
We're wrong for wanting something nice?
Nothing is wrong for wanting something nice. But you have to ask yourself, all right, if you have $100, the something nice usually go past $80 or so, right? Because
so why are you
nice
talking to me so directly all of a sudden like it's me?
No, man, no, I'm not dragging you, But the reality is, you have to be conscious.
True.
And sometimes we ourselves are not conscious of ourselves, and sometimes we need the support. But the reality is, you have to kind of face your own facts, face your own reality.
Yeah.
Look yourself in the mirror, because I do it sometimes, I like this something nice, but guess what? I kind of have to tell myself the things I've been telling my clients, and I tell you, you test it. If you are accountable to yourself for just 1 month, live the YOLO life for 1 month, you see the ripple effect. Flip it around and see where you are the following month. And you realize, because sometimes you have to test the theory, you know.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we talk nice things and we tell you all of these fancy stuff. And I say, yeah, man, this, that. But prove yourself.
Yeah.
And that is where you'll realize that it doesn't mean that you have to put away all of your money and invest it and do all of these things and suffer, because you kind of have to live while you're living.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
They said, build a budget. So I built a budget because I said I'm an adult and I'm being an adult
thing
and
to
I
do,
built a
of
budget.
course.
And then after 2 months, the budget started to feel like it was strangling me because I budgeted out every cent.
cent.
And none of that was to entertainment.
Oh.
None of that was to, but buddy, you know, say I go want a slice of cheesecake.
Yes,
None of that
nothing wrong
was
with that.
to, maybe you want to go out and have a little drink. I didn't put any of that. And that, I think I set myself up to fail with that because my budget didn't reflect me. My budget was
True.
made for some person who didn't want to go out, who didn't. There's a way that when we start to budget and think, we're very hard
On ourselves.
And I feel it works against us. Is that a fact? Should we put in?
It is a fact, you know, Carol. And let me tell you, the extremes is where we go wrong. Because there's a rule that, you know, is popular around. They say it's the 50-30-20 rule. Where the 50 is your 50-30-20.
Right.
So the 50 is your bills, things that, you know, are mandatory, because bills have to pay.
After?
Because, you know, you can, you know,
We have to
the
live somewhere ideally.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can buy the cheesecake and don't have the fridge to put it in because you don't have no light.
I eat it
You
on the way
understand?
home, so to be frank, not having the fridge is not an issue, but I get what you're saying, miss.
You get what I mean?
I understand.
Yeah, suppose you buy the whole cake. You can't eat off the whole cake.
I like how you think.
You see what I mean?
The whole cake.
Yes.
Facts. So 50 is fridge to put the
50,
cheesecake.
Fridge to put the cheesecake. 30 now, and I always tell persons, you can flip it. 30 goes to, like, you know, entertainment, stuff like that, that, you know, it's not necessarily a need per se, but it is important. And of course, you know, you have to put on a little something. 20%. You get what I mean?
Right.
So if you say, all right, my pay is X, take out my mandatory bills,
Yes.
XYZ, put away 20%, that is my savings, because guess what? You might feel for something nice, and you waste the whole 100%, and then now you don't have anything left back.
Nothing.
So guess what? If you have your 20 put aside, at least you know that if you spend a little over the 30%,
Yeah.
you can still balance yourself until.
Yeah.
So that's how you do it. So we're not telling you to kill yourself and drain yourself off everything, put away everything, and then you're left dry.
Yeah.
But balance. And you realize that when you start to balance your finances, it kind of helps you as well to mentally be balanced.
Yes.
You know, that sense of, I feel good.
Yeah.
Feel like, you know, something happening for me,
Yeah.
life not so bad. You know, you will have your buck toes along the way.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. Once you have the formula down,
Yeah.
once you have a strategy down, what I do is to put it up on my fridge. Put it up, yeah, man. So I see it every day. When I have a goal,
Side of the little magnetic letter them, you have...
yeah, man. It's all right,
like
GOAL,
this
and have my things. Yeah, you have to make, you know, do little things that.
So you just bring it into your everyday life?
Yes, and that is what you have to do. Sometimes you have to see it.
Yeah.
Have it in front of you to say, all right, if my goal is X,
Yeah.
you know, so you need X amount every month. You reach, so each month, you know, you're one step closer
Closer.
to X. And sometimes when you, the big picture, it
Yeah.
can be overwhelming. One step at a time. However, once you have a plan and you have the formula down,
Yeah.
despite the hiccups along the way, you will still get to where you need to get to.
And when you say that 50, 30, 20, in that 30 and that 20, what I hear is these are things that also care for my mental health.
Exactly,
Because being able
exactly.
to practice a little self-care,
Yes.
being able to go out a little,
Yes.
but also being able to know that if something should pop up now,
Right.
I can manage it. Because, like I tell you, I had a rogue $30,000 that followed me for like a year.
Really?
Every month when my pay would come and I thought everything was okay, a $30,000 expense just
pop up.
appeared. Something on the car stopped work. A pipe bust. We need to replace something. And I'm like, But when I got to a place where I had a buffer,
Yes.
even if I knew I had to lean on it,
Yeah.
and I would have to put it back,
Yeah.
I felt more at ease, and it really helped with my anxiety.
You see?
So
You
to
see?
speak about anxiety, so then. sometimes people resign themselves to falling deeper into debt. It can feel like a debt trap.
Sinking sand.
Sinking sand. I have started off, I'm in debt. I'm not going to be able to make it out. Is this true? And what are maybe like 2 simple things that people can do to start that process of, moving out of debt?
So one of the first things, Carol, is that you have to acknowledge your actual financial status. Because some of us know we in the hole,
Yes.
But it's like you don't say, boy, I'm really in the hole here. You keep packing on the sand and you're sinking deeper. Acknowledgement and as Julie said, recognition that something is wrong.
Yeah.
Why am I at this place? Don't feel like it is over and boy, that's the end of all be all. No. Right? So you acknowledge that something is wrong. You're in a situation now where you need help.
Yeah.
That's where I come into play.
But wait. But wait. You
Yes.
said acknowledge that I'm in a bad situation.
Yes. I know that's going to take some time.
Because
It's rough.
this tweet came out the other day and somebody said, don't believe these Instagram influencers when you see them, because I was behind one of them in the supermarket and their card declined. And there's a way that we feel bad about not having enough.
Yes.
And we make each other feel bad about not having enough. How does this play into our financial health? And what can we do with that very sticky emotional part of it?
So here's the thing. The enough is different for everybody. Some persons may...
Say it again.
The enough is different for everybody.
Okay.
So my enough may not be your enough.
True.
And the reality is you have to accept that. Some persons build a facade of what enough should be.
Yeah.
And you realize that because you can't reach it, you beat down yourself, You become depressed, you start to resign into the debt. And you feel like, boy, in order to get to that enough, I need to put myself into more debt. No. Be happy with who you are and define your own happiness.
Yeah.
Now, once you start saying that to yourself, which is why, when kids are younger, they do the affirmations.
Yeah.
I am strong, I am this, I do it with my daughter, Every night she say, what should he say? And her little name is Jessica. I'm strong, I'm powerful, I'm beautiful, I can do anything I put my mind to.
That nice thing?
Yes, because guess what? I have the opportunity to recognize that this is a problem that we all face.
We do.
Everybody, the top, the bottom, the middle.
We do.
But acknowledging and being mentally strong enough to face it and then overcome it is where the true strength comes from. So that person looking at that Instagram that influencer and saying, boy, feeling disappointed now and having that facade, don't watch nobody. Watch yourself, as they say, right?
Watch yourself.
Exactly. Find your enough. And then, as I said to you, no man is an island. If you need the help, don't be afraid to ask. There's so many avenues out there. If it's financial, Victoria Mutual is here to help you. I am here to help you.
I don't have plenty things.
Wally.
Oh, no, new to this.
Not at all.
Sometime I'm not doing it. Listen, when I saw that tweet, something inside of me, because nobody wants to have to say, I can't go out because I can't afford it.
True.
Nobody wants to, you don't want them to turn off any of your utilities. Having that experience, there's a way that it's like it cuts into you. It can feel like it takes you out at the knees.
True.
And there are a lot of us who are dealing with that. There are people who right now, they're working fewer hours than before because of COVID. There are people who have lost their jobs and they're trying to figure it out. There are people who have had to build entire extensions on their home to try to facilitate working from home, school from home, all of these types of things.
And trying to find an income too.
And trying to find an income and also trying to save. And our dreams for ourselves don't go away because we're in a time of uncertainty. For me, I always say to my clients when I'm coaching them, now is the time to dream. Now is absolutely the time for you to dream, because the dream is the thing that's going to project you out.
That's what keeps you going.
That's what keeps you going. But some of us feel that because things have shifted, we must drop everything to the wayside. And we don't know how long this shift is going to last, and that wayside could become a permanent way of life. And baby, when you come out on the other side, what is going to keep? So, for those of us, all of us, in these COVIDian times, what are some of the do's and don'ts for managing your finances in times of uncertainty like now?
All right. So one of the primary things is everybody has a source. Some actually don't at this point. So they have to discover a source. But the reality is, in order to survive, well, let me take it a step further. As you said in the beginning, every single thing we do or how we exist in life circulates around money, right? The moolah.
The moolah, the jolla jolla.
So the reality is identifying what your source is, right? You have your dreams, and they're nice and everything is great, and you're going through these uncertain times. And especially now, you really and truly cannot negate from having a plan, right? You want to reach X point, you want to reach Y point. You can't just say, geez, all right, this is what I have. Your bills are piling up. Can't do nothing. Plan it out and stick to it. You see, commitment and mindset, you see, those two powerful things will get you out of any darkness. So easily, the same rule I tell you, and I tell you not test it because I try, it works.
50, 30, 20.
50, 30, 20. I always tell persons you can flip it. Some persons want to save more than they entertain. That's okay, because we in COVID, can't go to
Where are you going to go? Well, we were going out for a time, but we're going home again.
You have the Zoom drink cups now and the Zoom
birthday party.
Yes, Zoom baby shower.
Zoom wedding.
All of that. Exactly.
Lovely.
Right?
Right.
You and the pastor.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Your financial, the things that you would have looked at to say, these are my financial demands and I need to be entertained, they shift. So it allows you to save a little more. Because a lot of persons have said it to me, and they say, boy, since I want to save on gas, I save on this. And I say, awesome. So what have you done with that money? Boy, say online shopping. I'm realizing
Why do you
that
do this to me?
COVID has brought about this online shopping fascination.
We have shopped out the savings.
It's true. So guess what? That is another thing too. You're home, you're bored, you like the nice things because you're waiting to the time for you to go out again, right? We outside. So you have to take a step back as well. Look, go back to the phone. Yeah, it's hard, Carol, it's not easy. But guess what? Look at it this way. All right. Shop till I drop today.
I did.
And then, which is why I said put it before you.
Yeah.
Once it is in front of you, each risk that you take, where you say, all right, if I shop till I drop today, my dreams kind of defer probably by another 6 months. So you're accountable to yourself. I say, all right, I can't do this, because sometimes while you're in it, you don't realize the effect you're having on your own self.
Yeah.
So sometimes you need that encouragement. The thing in front of you, they have vision boards and all these things. Make it your own dream board.
So we should definitely be putting financial things on that vision board.
Of course. Your dream board.
Your dream board. Okay.
You know what it costs.
Okay.
You know how you need to get there.
Yes.
Put it there. And so each time you're ready to pick up that credit card and press click, you say, no, man, but I just passed my dream board and if I need the house, I need to put down this money. And so not saying you cannot do it.
Right.
Balance out the thing.
So do have a plan.
Yes.
Do know how you're going to break the money down.
Yes.
Do put it where you can see it. So it's clear.
Yes.
Don't try to be so strict with yourself that you're giving it all up. And also don't give in to this idea because things are uncertain now, I don't need to be doing something. What about the person who is doing something but I feel defeated because I did not manage to just magically save $150,000 in 1 month and I don't feel like I've achieved much? Because I wanted to save $150,000 this month. I mean, my income is $180, but I wanted to save the $150. You know that we think like this.
It's true.
You know that we think like this.
We want to, and that was the intention.
Yeah.
And then now, As I tell persons, an easy thing you can look at. If you do a statement on your account within a month, and we tick off some of the things that you use the money to do,
Right.
and I say, look at it. You know that this never did have to happen. Some of the times,
True.
it's true, you know.
It's true.
So that is the strategy I use. So I say, all right.
You go and look at your statement.
Yes, no,
to
I
see
do
what
it
you
for my
never have to
clients
do.
too. And I say, look on this now. So I tick off all of the things that are wants, never did have to.
True.
And I look on you see the bills and everything, then the barrage of,
I already know what
feel
mine
good
looks
stuff.
like, and it's not
Feel good stuff. So
yeah.
yes, you're saving in that month. You never reach your target.
Yeah.
That's okay. Don't beat up yourself. Seeing the ways that are the things that you have done wrong is an opportunity for you to right them. So don't feel like because I don't reach my target this month, that's the end all, that's the be all, boy. I just giving up and I throwing in the towel and I'm just going to stay in my quicksand and just,
Yeah.
no.
One last question I have to ask
Sure.
you. And I'm asking you this question because we've crossed the halfway mark for the year.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of us that set year-long goals for savings.
Mm-hmm.
And we know why we set the goals.
Mm-hmm.
We set the goals because we're trying to take care of the older version of us. It's
Right.
my duty, this person, it's my responsibility now to provide for the 65-year-old, the 70-year-old version of myself. So we set the goals.
Which is right.
Half of the year done.
Mm-hmm.
I have not done half of what I plan to do. And what I intend to do is in the home stretch of the year, the last 3 months of the year, I'm going to try to save everything that it should have taken me 1 year to save. Because I'm doing it for my mental health,
Right.
Because I know that I want to save this much in 2021.
Right.
Is this recommended behavior to try to do 1
No.
year of save? No?
No.
Don't try to save 1 year of things in 3 months?
Save, certainly not. Unless you realize that you have the capacity to comfortably do so. You're beating up yourself and you're setting up yourself. Remember, your mental health is so delicate and it triggers you to make, mistakes and make further decisions that you probably never had to make. So guess what? Acknowledge that, yes, I never get there. The reality is you actually started. You see, if you never start now and you reach... So you did, and things happened throughout the year, and that didn't cause you to get there.
Yeah.
Don't beat yourself up about it. What you need to do is to say, all right, what is the redress that I can do?
Yeah.
All right, I can do the 3 months, but then God bless what happens at the end of the year. You burn out, the mental health part of it where I feed what I like to, stuff like that. That is now put on the back burner.
Yeah.
Do not do that to yourself. Probably need to readjust a certain things. Probably say, okay, the 1 year mark wasn't there. The 3 months or the 6 months that I fell off, let me put it a little further. Because it helps to ease the pressure and you don't feel that tightness in the chest and say, geez, the year is finishing, I'm only 20% of where I need to get to. No. Because remember, it is you against you.
Oh my gosh.
It's you against you. But
It's just that what you're saying, I know that it sounds so revolutionary for a lot of us.
Yeah.
Which is don't beat yourself up about money. Don't make yourself feel bad about money.
No.
Hold yourself accountable, but also
Yes.
make sure you're comfortable because your finances should not be deteriorating your
Exactly.
mental health.
Exactly. And you shouldn't let your dreams control you. You actually determine the dreams.
Yeah.
So once you have that control of the whole thing, that's where you realize that, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
Yes, I fell down. Yes, I didn't get to where I need to get to, but guess what? You have the source, you have an income, or even if you don't have one, I have the ability to create one. Because one of the things I've seen, Carol, is that this COVID thing let persons see some talents, Even me, I'm saying, wait, I didn't know I had these things in me, man.
Did you know I could do hair?
I didn't.
I did this.
I was actually looking at it.
Thank you so much. Appreciate.
You see?
It's true.
All
COVID
right.
really has, this has been the epitome of turn your hand make
Exactly.
fashion time.
Exactly.
Turn your hand make fashion. And because you have really come here and turned every hand and made fashion and have showed us everywhere that we need to go, I know that the question and answer segment is lining up because the people want things to them.
I am here to answer
things that they
them.
want to ask you.
I am here to
So,
answer
all
them.
right. Miss Julia, I beg you to be on standby because we have questions for you as well. Okay, let's go. I'm 30 years old, and I find it hard not to compare my current saving to my friends who are the same age. Some of our friends are very good.
Yes.
So what advice do you give to a 30-year-old who just knows that their friends have more savings than them? What advice do you give, Patrice?
So here's the thing. There's a thing that my father always tells me when I was very young. He says, every bucket have to sit on their own bottom. Think about
It's not a lie.
You know? So your friends'
Yeah.
pathways, your friends'
Different.
dreams, you don't know how they got where they needed to get, you
Yeah.
know. But your pathway is entirely different from them. Yes, they are your friends and they're there for a reason, but don't let that reason be what drives who you become and what you are.
Yeah.
You're 30. You have a lot of potential. I don't know what your financial situation is, but at the end of the day, you have to be your own champion. Don't be the champion for your friends, because look at it this way. Who are you impressing?
The facts of it.
You have to ask yourself the question, who am I really impressing? In impressing this person, what benefit is it to me really? Other than just, trying to be balanced in the friend clique.
Yeah.
No. At the end of the day, you have your own bottom to sit on. And at the end of the day, you want that bucket, which is your dreams, your passions, your goals, to be driven by your own desires and not that of those that are around you.
Yeah. A lot of times when we look at what other people achieve, and in particular when we look at what we haven't achieved, we don't think about the fact that we all had different things that we had to go through, different difficulties that we had to overcome to get there. Which is why this next question is actually perfect. What are some things I can put in place to stay on top of my savings on days when I don't feel like doing so? So what are some of the things that I can do to build wealth when I'm not feeling my best and I don't want to deal with a lot of moving parts?
All right. So one of the simplest things I normally tell my clients is, if you personally find it hard to save, set up something that does it for you, which is called a standing order, right? That's the name we give it. So if you know that your income comes to an account and you know that every month I'm supposed to save X, set up a standing order, make sure that that comes out, so on the days you don't feel like it, it's already there. Simple. All right?
Yeah.
So don't feel like, all right, I don't feel like saving today. You already save already.
Yeah.
Because really and truly, personal accountability is very difficult. But if you put steps and, facilities in place to assist you, which is why I say no man or woman is an island, you can get through it.
So make a system, put a system in place to support you in doing these
and there's
things.
so many systems, so just pick one.
Okay, this is a big one. This is beautiful because we don't talk about this enough. I'm married, and my partner, who handles our finances, suffers from depression. At times, he goes into a don't care frame of mind and forgets his financial obligations. Because of this, I have to be on top of things. How can I help him through this while being mindful of his condition? So how do I deal with the financial aspect while being sensitive to the emotional? What would you say?
All right, so this connects to me because I too am married.
Yeah.
And the reality is, and I always say this, I compare it to, like a seesaw. It never stays the same. Yes, you're supposed to maybe going through depression. But the question is, what is causing the depression? Because maybe, as I say, you have to find the root.
Yeah.
Say, all right, you have a conversation where you say, all right, honey, you're supporting him because that is a part of what the relationship is about. But while you're doing that, you have to support him as well mentally with getting him to be comfortable with talking about what the issue is.
Yeah.
Because really and truly, if you don't get to that point, you will always be in this situation. Once there's comfort and there's a support, because maybe it could be a case where he thinks he has to handle it alone, And I was talking about it too. There's a culture that we have that, as men,
The man is in charge.
you bring the world on your back and that's it,
You're
end all
supposed to
be
can't
all.
hold it.
No.
Yeah.
I tell my husband and I tell my male friends to listen. The table always turn, no matter how you take it. But it's a support system that you have that allows you to go, take a breath,
Yeah.
find back yourself,
Yeah.
build back yourself, and come back, that is where there's a centerfold, and you realize that once you get to that place where he's comfortable with talking about what is happening to him, you'll realize that he comes out of that shell, feels that it is okay. Because remember, he normally handles the finances, so it's not that he cannot.
Yeah.
But he's dealing with something that is affecting how he operates. And as we said in the beginning, if you find your mental state not right, nothing else not right. So that is where the issue is. Comfort him, talk to him, get him to a place, find things that he likes, share it with him, and talk about the issue. Because the issue really isn't the financial situation.
That's
It's
a
what is
symptom.
exactly.
That's the symptom.
That's a result of the cause, which you really need to find out.
Yeah.
Once you do that, everything else will fall into place.
I think that's great guidance for supporting anybody who seems to be
It
dealing
doesn't
with
have
a
to even
mental
be
health
married.
challenge. Is try to make the person feel comfortable.
Yes.
Try to let them know that they can speak to you.
Yes.
And then speak to the issue, because we'll hide, and sometimes it's up to the people who love us to come get us.
And then one of the things to Carol is the fear of talking about it. Because the fear is what stops a lot of us, Right?
Yeah.
And I have a lot of male friends, and I realize that they're dealing with stuff,
Yeah.
but they bombard themselves with this tough exterior and tough shell to think that, boy, I can't talk about it. No, you have blood running through you, you have feelings just like us.
Yeah.
So nothing is wrong with having somebody that you're comfortable with to talk to. So if you find that support, because trust me, there's one, If it's even
Absolutely.
one,
Absolutely.
talk about it, and you'll realize that you'll be able to handle the other issues that come. As I say, you can put the plaster on it, but that doesn't heal the cut.
And let's stop judging men. I think a lot of men,
Oh my goodness.
when they can't meet the financial responsibilities, they get judged because you're a man and you're supposed to can provide.
You're preaching.
When in reality, you're looking at a man who is dealing with a mental health
Exactly.
issue.
Exactly.
And what he needs is support. Sorry. Okay.
Exactly.
This one brings me back to what Julie said earlier. How can VMBS help direct my spending pattern? As someone who spends heavily on clothes and traveling when my mental health is at stake. So how can VMBS
All right.
help us to redirect some of that spending?
All right. So there are many ways that we can redirect it, but we have to look at the issue. Why
Why
are
do
you
that?
spending so much on clothes and traveling? So you have to answer that question first, So if you yourself don't know the answer to it, then that is where we have to start. Right, Julie?
Yep.
That is exactly where we have to start. So once you identify that, we're definitely there, because the thing is, we can give you all the solutions. And there are many solutions that can help you to save. We have many accounts. We can have that discussion. One of our popular accounts is what we call an I save account. As the name suggests, you save. And it kind of protects you from yourself, where it's a standing order based account. So for the other question that was asked earlier, where days where he doesn't feel like
Right.
saving, that is where that comes into play. So for you have to find the root issue. Once you answer those questions, then the other things which are happening, which is spending more than you should, causing your mental state to be more at risk, you'll realize that it starts to turn around for you. But in terms of us assisting you, we can. So while you're helping yourself, we can help you too.
Yeah, okay. And so this next question is, it's the people in their 30s who are going through it.
Yes.
We are going through it.
We're at that peak.
We're at that point.
Yes.
I'm 35 years old and feel like time is running out on me because at my age, I feel I should own my house. How can VMBS help me? I'm 35, I should have a house.
So the first question is, who says that at 35 you have to own a house?
you.
Julie? Who made that stencil? Who said at 20 I should be this? At 35 I should be that? So the question is, so what? The reality is, are you able to afford a house, right? Are you working? So those are the key things, because yes, the house is there waiting on you. They have developments going up every year. But you have to be in a ready position to be able to reach that goal. Now you have to do some introspection. Time is not running out on you, right? Once there's life, there's hope. That's what they say. I know it sounds cliche, but it's true. I am your age, not afraid to tell my age, and I own my home a few months ago.
Yeah.
Right? So if I was probably targeting myself to say, boy, at 25, I need to be this, that, this. No,
Yeah.
my mental state would be
Mash up.
shambles. Right? So firstly, no, you're not. Time is not running out on you, so to get that out of your mind.
Yeah.
You're 35, find the sources. Am I working? You don't have to be working millions as well to own a home. Because you know what is funny? When I do my assessments for my clients and I tell them, hey, you've been pre-approved for X, they're like, you're serious?
Oh, yeah.
My little pay can do that?
Me not rich.
You know, me not rich. Me not drive, you know?
Yeah.
Me not have millions in the
Yeah.
bank. That misconception, we need to eliminate it from our minds. Once there's a source, you're able to do with it. And once you have a source of income, your buying power gets stronger. So once you have those things out the way, you don't have an issue. When you need, the simple thing you need to do, get yourself assessed, know where you are in terms of how it is that you can get a home. Doing an assessment is simple. We can have the conversation. We're here to help you through that. We can talk to somebody. If you want to talk to me, any branch that is closest to you, there are persons there, much like myself, that can assist you. So know where you are. I say, all right, see it here. All is not lost. All right, probably I need to do a little savings. That's where we show you the different things now. So you'll realize that once you see the goal in front of you and you see that it is possible,
Yeah.
that time running out thing where sun going through the hourglass, you realize
These
that
are the days of
our
our
lives.
lives.
Yes, indeed.
So start where you are.
Yes.
Start from wherever you are.
Yes.
Because you cannot be 35 and be starting from 25.
No.
25 done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And whatever age you are, you still have time. You know? In Jamaica, the retirement age goes up to 70. You're 35. You have enough time, man.
And not
time.
because you don't feel like your money is plenty.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right? So just get the facts out the way.
Yeah.
Know where you need to get to, and it will fix the issue that you have in the back of your mind that time is running.
Yeah. I think what I hear coming up a lot is that comparison is the theft of joy.
Yes.
Comparison is the
Thank
theft
you,
of joy.
Carol.
We live in a society that teaches us to compare ourselves, but it's not good. Okay, so the next question is for Julie. Julie, I'm at university and I've already accumulated debt because of student loan. Depression is real. What are some mechanisms I can put in place to ensure my mental health is fine while focusing on my studies and not student loans? So what are some of the things that they can do to take care of their mental health so they can focus on their studies instead of being so bent out of shape about the student loan? Julie, what you say?
In that situation, information and facts will always help. Sometimes we fret when we don't know the facts. So because of the student loan, if I was that person, I would find out, okay, what I am in student loan debt, but what are my options? When I start working, how soon will I have to pay off the debt? What will my debt look like? And once you have those facts, sometimes you realize that what you think is so terrible probably isn't as terrible as you think it is once you get the facts, right?
True.
And when you get that information, you have to just put it to rest. They're not going to kick you out of school. The sky is not falling. It feels that way, but you have to know that there is no emergency, right? So you have to put that down and then just focus on school. How you can focus on school? You can find like-minded people who sometimes it's easier for you to go through something when you're able to talk to another friend who is going through the same thing. Each one teach one. You carry your sister's or your brother's burden. When both of you are talking about it, you kind of feel all right because you say, it's not me one. Sometimes it's not the burden itself that makes us feel so bad, is when we think that it's us alone or is me one feel that way.
True.
Right? So first thing, get your facts straight.
Yeah.
Don't mull things over and say, Lord God, I'm going to dead tomorrow. They're going to kill me. Drop that, don't come kill
Can you
me.
imagine?
No. Get your facts straight. Then when you know the facts, when you must take back, you put that down and you say, all right, I will deal with that when I'm finished.
Indeed.
You
Okay.
focus on your schoolwork, find someone who is like-minded that can talk with you and that can talk to you about it. No, I don't know if UE has like a guidance counselor. I don't think so.
They do. No,
Yeah,
they
they
have the
do.
mental health. They have the
All
mental
right,
health unit.
so
Yeah.
so then this is the last one, but the most important one. It is absolutely imperative that you go and talk to that person. They're not going to help you financially.
Yeah.
They are going to help you mentally, and they will offer you different coping mechanisms, so that will help you to study whilst you are thinking about your student loans.
Yeah.
You have to just tell yourself that, so whatever you can't deal with right now, or if you can't do something about something right now, just put it down. Life is not an emergency. Trust me. Life is
And
not an emergency.
And Julie, I can testify to this because I had student loan. And I said to myself, all right, the reality is I'm studying to get to where I need to get to, correct? So you're already in the process to get to where
on
you
the
need to
way.
get to. This is just a mechanism to help you to get to this phase. When I finished university, I had a little time before I got a job. And the reality is student loan pay off. Me still living, me not dead. My mental state. Yes, you go through those things, because you're saying in the back of your mind, this thing building up.
Yeah.
And boy,
Right.
it gonna drown me. No. One step at a time.
Yeah.
Focus on,
Yeah.
as I said, the facts. When you get to that bridge, as I say, you cross it. But the reality is you're actually able to walk across the bridge.
Yes.
So don't beat yourself down. Don't
A
beat
lot of the
yourself down.
time, a lot of the time, it's not problem itself. It's how we view the problem,
Yeah.
Exactly.
and the
Mindset.
frustration that accompanies the problem.
True.
Mindset.
Don't worry about tomorrow, because tomorrow has its own stuff.
Yes.
Just think about today. So as she said, one day at a time.
Yeah.
Yes.
One of the beautiful things about this conversation for me is how much overlap there is. Somebody who's coming from a mental health perspective, somebody who is coming from a finance perspective, and just the fact that we've been able to not only just find a middle ground, but to understand that there's no middle ground. It's the same thing.
Exactly.
Everything is everything. The financial
circle.
wellness is the mental, and the mental is the financial.
They're all
and
connected.
The whole of it is back and forth. So I want to thank you both for joining me, and I hope that this discussion has done something for those of us who are here, which is to help us to understand ourselves a bit more deeply. Because financial literacy is not just about understanding money. As you've said time and time again, financial literacy is about understanding yourself.
Yes.
Mental health is not just always about going and talking to a therapist. It starts with the hard work of introspection. You have
Yes.
to face yourself. And on that note, another edition of Making Moves has come to an end. And it's really been my pleasure today to speak to financial specialist Patrice Bingham. You're at VM, and people
Yes.
can contact you
Yes.
or somebody like you if they want a little bit of support.
Definitely.
Okay, that's
Definitely.
beautiful. And also mental health advocate Juliet Bodley, aka Miss Julie Mango. Please don't hesitate to reach out for help and support, whatever form that might take. If
Yes.
that is somebody to help you to put something in place so you can save better, if that is somebody to listen to your concerns so you don't feel alone, do it. Reach out for the support that you need. My name is Carla Moore. It's been my pleasure being here with you. Please be safe. And as always, be sanitized,
Yes.
because it's 2021.
That's
Have a
right.
great evening. Good night.
Bye.
Okay.